Good day, my name is Ralph Spears and welcome to today's presentation. Today I'll be doing a presentation on creating charts in class, and this is a demonstration on how you can create charts in class and using the prices of the daily moves on the stock exchange. So this is a disclaimer. Just to say that I cannot give any advice. Give any advice, and this is just a demonstration for the game purposes. So yeah, please make sure that you understand it's just for the game. So some of the different types of charts that you get a line chart, a bar chart, a candlestick chart. So all these different charts, all they really are is just showing you what happens to the price on a daily basis. Now, you do get charts that are shorter time framed, like for example an hourly chart or a minute chart, a weekly chart, even longer time frame, monthly chart. We're going to be dealing with a daily chart. So there are many other different types of charts, but I've chosen today to only focus on a line chart, bar chart, and candlestick chart. Trying to keep it as simple as possible, and you can choose whichever chart you want to use, but there are others, but these are probably the most common amongst all the charts, and today I'm going to take you through it, and then you can decide which one you want to use going forward. So for a chart to work and for you to create a chart, you need to collect prices and the different price fields, for example, opening, high, low, and close. You're going to need that. So I want to take you through what is the open price. Basically, there's a first traded price for the period. And I put there period because period could mean an hourly chart or a daily chart or a weekly chart, monthly chart. But in our case, for this example, for today, I want you to remember that period means the closing price. Okay? The high is the highest price that the share traded during the day. Now remember, the shares fluctuate continuously during the day, and at some stage it'll reach the highest point in the day, and that is marked as the highest price. Then again, the lowest price is for the day, so that's the lowest price the share traded during the period, which we're referring to the day. And there again, the share falls to its lowest price during the day at some stage, and that is marked as the lowest price. And then you've got the close, and that's the last price that the share traded during the day. So normally, and most people just focus on the closing price, but to create some of the other charts, like the bar chart or the candlestick chart, you need to know more than just the closing price. And I want to emphasize that shares are normally displayed always in cents. So here you've got 23,573 cents. Convert that into rand, and you've got 235 rand and 73 cents. Always just putting a space between the last two digits. Okay, it's important that you convert it into rands, especially when you're dealing with the money and the amount that you have. You want to convert it into rands. Okay, and also the different platforms, the newspapers, everything displays it, or all platforms normally display it in cents. You must convert it into rands. So here in the newspaper, you can see this is one of the newspapers, and there's the close, the high, the low, and some of the other different columns that you will get in the newspaper. Again, as I said, the close, in this example, you've got the JSC halfway down the page, the close being 77 Rand and 45 cents. That was a couple of years ago. It's probably trading at about 160 Rand a share now. There again, you would collect this data and take the different columns for your charting. So here we're going to first look at a line chart. The price is on the vertical axis and the dates on the horizontal axis. Prices are plotted and joined by a line. We are using the closing price, okay, because we're doing this once a day. Patterns are easier to see using a line chart. So some people like the line chart because they can see certain patterns, and if you go deeply into charting, people talk about head and shoulders, or inverse head and shoulders, double tops, double bottoms, and with a line chart it's easier to recognize those patterns, and they use those patterns to make decisions. But we're not going to go so deep into that, but that is one of the uses of a line chart, that you can actually see a certain pattern that pops up. Prices, and I've just taken a few prices here. January the 12th, you've got 20 Rand. So it's 20 Rand. So we go and plot on our graph paper, and you can get graph paper and or any paper that you would choose, and you place on the 12th of January, it was 20 Rand. The next day, you get the price from the newspaper again, and it was 25 Rand. Following day, it was 17 Rand. And the next day, the 15th, it was 26 Rand. And on the 16th Jan, 33 Rand. And then you've plotted the different points, and this is the closing price. And of course, you can then join them and see a certain pattern as to what is happening with this share price. Now, I always encourage the classes and students that are participating, you want to be monitoring the shares that you own. You want to see what direction your price or your company is going. If they're going in a downward direction, are you going to continuously hold them? And how long are you going to hold and wait for it to turn around? If it's in a negative trend, it might stay in a negative trend for a couple of months, if not years. And so you've got to be careful holding a share that continuously falls. At the same time, you can look at charts where shares have an upward trend. And over time, they're continuously going slowly up over time. Yes, they'll have certain down movements, but the general trend might be in an upward direction. And this is why you can use charts to have a look and see where is your company going. Remember, so past performance does not guarantee future return. And so therefore, even though the share currently is going up, doesn't mean it will continuously go up. Now, if you look at a bar chart, so the line chart's the easiest to use, the most common to use, but the bar chart gives you more information on the movement. So a dash on the left-hand side of the bar represents the opening price. You can see that on the opening at 9 a.m., there you go, there's the opening price, and there's a dash on the left-hand side. The dash on the right-hand side shows you the closing price for the day. The bottom of the bar represents the lowest price during the day, and the top of the bar represents the highest price during the day. So this gives you a lot more information and a lot more to think about than just seeing one dot as the close. Now, if we looked at candlesticks, which is another option, so you've got the line chart, which is just your normal line, the bar chart, and now the candlestick. Now, the candlestick, it shows a certain colors, green and red, depending on what has happened during the movement of the day. At the opening, it's quite an important point with a candlestick. When it opens, should it close later in the day higher, it's going to give you a green body. Should it close lower from where it opened, it will show you a red body. The bottom of the candle represents the lowest point price of the day, and the top of the candle represents the highest price of the day. And here you can see this candle moved up. So you know there's the price moved up because it opened low and closed higher. So it just gives you an indication as to the movement during the day and whether maybe the company share price is bullish or bearish, meaning it's going up or is it going down? Is it trending up or is it trending down? Were there more buyers or were there more sellers? So here's an example of a candlestick that opens at a higher price and closes at a lower price, and therefore the candlestick's going to be red because it opened higher, but during the day it started falling and it closed at a lower price. You know that this stock is starting to fall, and if you see a number of red candles in a row, then you know it kind of gives you more information on exactly what's happening. So here's an example of a bar chart, and I've taken more information. I've said in February during the day when it opened and the closing price was 2 Rand 26 or 226 Rand, depending on whether we want to take this in cents or rands. And in this case, I'm going to say it's rands. 226 Rand. The next day, it closes at 236 Rand. And the last day, on the 3rd of February, closes 246 Rand. And you can see the upward trend. If you went and took a bar chart, this is what it would look like. It opened at 240, but during the day it fell and it closed at 226. Again, here you can see the next day, the 2nd of Feb, it opened at 238, and so on and so on. So you can see what is actually happening with the bar chart. With the candlestick, here you can see the movement is negative. It's fallen during the day. This one is positive, and the next one is positive as well. It gives you a nice pattern, and some people like to use it. Now, if you go and look into candlesticks in a deeper way, and we're not going to do that today, but there are certain candlestick patterns, the candles themselves, when they are next to a red candle, for example, and the next day they might open lower but go aggressively up, you can use these patterns, and a lot of people actually take these patterns and can recognize when there's a reversal or when there's a different names to these candles based on what they have around them, what actually candle they have before and after. And so you can go and look at, for example, you could Google the 12 major candle reversals, and these basically candles, you can look and see when are the major reversals going to take place. So you can look at a chart and you can actually recognize they've got certain names to them as to this one is reversing now at the bottom, or this one is actually going up. So candles, there's a deeper theory than just the color over here. And should you be interested, you can go and Google it and just read up more about candles. But you can choose as a team, do you want to use candles every day? Do you want to use line charts, or do you want to use bar charts? You can, for example, find websites like ShareNet where they give you the option of looking at a candlestick or looking at a bar chart instead of a line chart. Now here's an example of what happens when you plot a candlestick chart. Remember, you're going to take the high, the low, the close, and the open every day. And if it opened higher and closed lower, you'll make it red. And in this case, my chart is showing you brown. And if it opens lower and closes higher, you're going to have a green candlestick. You've got a line chart, and it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is between the line chart and the candlestick, you can see quite a bit more information using the candlestick chart. So you as a team or your class need to divide yourselves up to monitor what shares What shares are you going to look at? Are we focused on the top 40? If you're playing the income game, we're only going to focus on the top 40. Divide them into groups then. Who's going to look at, for example, resource companies? Who's going to look at financial companies? Who's going to do consumer goods or consumer services? As a team, you can actually focus on different groups of shares, and then you would go and plot them as an individual and bring them back to your class or your group and be able to show them what is happening to the company. You would take the share price either of every day if you would choose, or you could do it, for example, once a week. You can make a weekly chart. It's up to you. If you're able to get access to the data, you're able to get access to either a newspaper or online, find the high, the low, the close, like on moneyweb.co.za, you can go and then plot these graphs using just normal graph paper. You need to decide on what type of chart you're going to be using. You can just use the simple one as a line chart. It's going to help you know the trend. It's going to help you know what direction the company's going. Is it climbing? Is it going higher over time? Or is it falling? You can collect the newspapers for prices, as I said, or you can go online, look at ShareNet, look at MoneyWeb, look at the JSC, your own portfolio. On the actual game, you will have the prices there as well, and you can go and take that information. You can then share once a week as a team. You can meet together or as a class, and you can share your different charts and be able to see the movement of what is happening to the shares that you currently own or potentially want to buy. And that is, in a nutshell, how you can go and plot the charts. I've shown you the difference between a line chart, a bar chart, and a candlestick one. You can go and do more research on candlesticks or bar charts and see how you can use their patterns to your advantage, and there are some. And so that is up to you depending on what you would like to do. Please remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, because there we are making announcements when is our next webinar and things that are happening. And if you're wanting more information, you're welcome to go email us, schoolc@jsc.co.za, phone me on the telephone number there, or go to our website